Beamy Jake, 26, senior lifeguard and shift lead at giant indoor water park glued to family resort hotel. Place's wall of chlorine smell, screaming kids, fake palm trees, lazy river looping around wave pool and slides shaped like snakes. Job is simple on paper: walk, scan water, blow whistle when someone does stupid, jump in fast enough that nobody dies. Old HR and safety combo was guy named Phil, ex paramedic, more worried about backboards and oxygen tanks than hashtags. If somebody complained about creepy lifeguard, Phil reviewed cameras, talked to staff, fixed problem quietly, no culture war. One spring, Phil finally retires to fish and yell at clouds. We eat sheet cake and break room that smells like wet towels. Few weeks later, email hits from corporate subject welcoming Riley, our new director of guest wellness and safe spaces. Title already feels like it came with a ring light and a TEDx talk. Open attachment: see woman, early 30s, sharp jaw, bright lipstick, blazer over t-shirt that says no male gaze zone. Bio talks about reclaiming leisure spaces from male entitlement and making sure women and girls feel safe in swimsuits. Tower guard Chris leans over my shoulder, mutters, "She's gonna hate that my job is literally staring at the water." Goes back to spinning whistle. First day, Riley visits deck. She doesn't glance at pump room, AED cabinet, or slide height charts. She just walks slowly, arms folded, watching where male guards' eyes move when women in bikinis walk by. She stops near my stand at wave pool, asks sweetly, "So how do you make sure women don't feel watched here?" I point at water, say, "We watch everyone all the time. That's literally how we stop drownings." She smiles chilly, says, "We'll have to refine that." Tap something on tablet like writing my future case file. Week later, all staff get dragged into multi-purpose room that smells like pizza grease and sunscreen. Riley stands by projector, slide behind her, reads Phase 1, ending the male gaze on deck. She gives speech about swimwear anxiety and historic harassment at pools, shows stock photos of teenage girls looking uncomfortable, announces new policy: no scanning of bodies. We are now required to focus visual sweep strictly on water surface and hazard points, not on individual female guests. She says we should avoid fixating on women in bikinis even if they're struggling, instead alert a female guard if possible. Tower guard Maria raises hand carefully, says, "But we're trained to watch faces, posture, signs of distress, not just bubbles." Riley answers, "You can still see distress without staring at someone's chest or hips. We're reframing where eyes rest." We all exchange looks because distressed swimmers tend to come with heads and limbs attached to those exact body parts. Riley rolls out gaze zones, charts showing where men are allowed to rest eyes, mostly open water and lane lines. After meeting, we joke darkly that we now lifeguard by sonar. First few days under Phase 1 are awkward, but not catastrophic. Guys overcompensate, staring at far middle of pool like possessed flamingos. Women guards quietly break rules to actually watch people. I still scan like I always have because I like my guests alive and my conscience quiet. Riley sends me one email with screenshot from camera, complaining my head appears focused on specific bodies. I reply with timestamp where we pulled out kid near that exact group, ask if she wants him put back. She doesn't answer, just adds, "We'll revisit in training." Then Phase 2 drops, and that's when it starts really messing with operations. Email subject: dedicated women's comfort zones. Riley announces new idea: she spaces. Segments of water park will now be women-focused areas where male guards are minimized to reduce ambient male presence. Top deck of wave pool gets rope dividing side with shallow entry and lounge chairs. Sign goes up: preferred area for women and girls. Big family hot tub also gets hours where only women and children allowed, no men over 12. During those times, male guards must cover perimeter only, not stand directly adjacent or sit on nearest stand. Riley's logic: Women relax more without being under male eyes. Practical outcome: women guards like Maria and Tasha get slammed, covering wave shallow, kiddie pool, and hot tub all at once. I point this out in meeting, say, they can't physically watch 3 bodies of water alone. We need tower coverage. Riley says, male guards can respond to whistles, they just shouldn't be primary eyes in women's zones. I remind her drownings are silent and seconds matter, not feelings about who's looking. She nods like she heard static, moves on to next slide about pink wristband welcome kits for girls. We grumble but follow chart, even when it means guys pacing awkwardly at rope while kids cannonball behind she space signs. Then comes phase 3, the one that pins our hands to our sides. Riley calls it touch with consent, announces in another meeting that male guards can no longer perform direct physical assists on female guests unless there is clear verbal consent and no woman guard in sight. She gives examples like, if a woman slips on deck, you can offer arm but wait for yes. But buried in policy is worst part. For rescues in shallow areas, she strongly prefers women guards to do front contact toe on female victims. Men should, if at all possible, wait to hand off once guest is in lower distress. Tower guard Chris whispers, hope drowning lady remembers to sign terms and conditions. I raise hand, ask, what about spinal rescues when someone might have hit their head? We don't have luxury of swapping rescuers mid-water. Riley replies, true spinals are rare, constant male touch is not, and says we'll cross that bridge if needed. Behind her on wall is laminated poster that says seconds count with picture of lifeguard diving. Nobody has energy left to point at it. Over next few weeks, we start collecting weird incidents like pool toys. Guy slips on steps, bangs shoulder, male guard reflexively grabs his wrist to stop fall. Riley files coaching note for non-consented grip. Female guest trips near shallow end, I reach to help, then freeze mid-motion because new rule lives rent-free in brain. She laughs, jokes, what, you gonna let me die? I force awkward, just being respectful, go home feeling like coward. Some teenage boys figure out they can accuse male guards of staring to get free snacks, whisper into comment box about eyes on my girlfriend. Riley treats each anonymous scribble like sacred text, pulls guys into office for gaze realignment sessions. Through all this, management above Riley only sees her weekly reports with words like safety, comfort, female retention up. Numbers about incident response lag or coverage hours get buried in appendices nobody reads. Then holiday weekend arrives, bookings maxed. Every school seems to have decided our water park is field trip destination. Saturday afternoon, deck is battlefield of inflatable rings, screaming kids, parents on phones, lifeguards blowing whistles like flawed symphony. Riley comes in wearing branded polo and that I'm going to impress corporate energy. She's scheduled a walkthrough with District GM and some marketing guy shooting footage for new family-safe ad campaign. They want shots of smiling girls in she spaces to plaster online. Wave pool is our biggest beast, giant bowl of churning bodies, far too many floats, fake waves slamming in cycles. Riley insists shallow she space side of wave pool be staffed only by women guards that day for optics. So Maria has tower on that side, plus she's supposed to keep an eye on mix of toddlers, tweens, moms on edge, and random older women. I'm lead roaming. We have full crew, but everyone's stretched. I station Chris on deep side, Trey at midline, 2 rookies on lazy river, 1 guard at slide catch pool, 1 at kiddie area. Waves start, horn blasts, water lifts, shrieks get louder. From my patrol path, I can see Maria stand, her head moving in steady scan, classic 10 to 20 pattern we learned. Riley walks behind her with GM and camera guy, pointing proudly at all female safety team and girls area. They smile, nod, camera lens glints in sunlight pouring through skylight. For a few cycles, everything is chaos but normal. Kids wipe out, pop up laughing, parents half watch. Then one wave looks off. I'm on far side when I notice small figure near rope line, little girl maybe 8, pinned awkwardly between tube and wall by incoming swell. She's not splashing or yelling, just clinging weirdly, mouth barely above water every few seconds. Classic quiet distress, the kind drownings hide inside. Maria's scanning, but her angle from stand might be cut by cluster of bigger kids. I'm already moving, walking fast along deck, eyes locked on kid. Wave hits, pushes tube harder, girl slips under a second longer than feels okay. I stop pretending to walk, start running. I blow whistle, point, shout. Maria, left of rope, small one, watch. She snaps focus, sees it too, grabs rescue tube, pivots to step off stand. In perfect world, she'd launch and be there in seconds. This is world with Riley. As Maria drops to deck, Riley, still in tour mode, reaches out and actually catches her arm. I hear her say, "Remember, we don't want to overreact and scare guests. Use your voice first." Another wave slams into crowd, tube flips. I lose sight of girl's face for full 2 seconds. When she reappears, she's not on tube anymore, hands pawing uselessly at water, head tipped back wrong. Distance between her and Maria is maybe 15 feet, between me and rope, maybe 20. I don't wait for anyone to sign emotional release form. I kick off shoes mid-run, drop fanny pack with radio, whistle still in mouth. I yell in, slam rescue tube under armpit, and dive over rope, ignoring staff-only gate 2 steps away. Water is cold shock through warm deck adrenaline, waves harder from inside than they look on top. I pop up, stroke toward where I last saw her, heart counting beats, scanning surface for hair, hand, anything. See small arm near crest, grab wrist, slide tube under her back, flip her up. Her eyes are open but glassy, lips pale. She coughs weakly, water spilling, not full arrest but close to serious trouble. I tow her toward wall, yelling clear, move, move, at pack of float kids who suddenly realize game stopped being fun. Someone's inflatable smacks my head. I shrug it off, keep going. On deck, Chris has already sprinted around from deep side, reaching down to haul girl up as I push her to edge. We get her on concrete, she rolls, vomits thin stream of chlorinated water, starts crying properly, which is best sound in world. Her mom appears from nowhere, screaming, grabbing her, crying too. Paramedics get called from hotel side as precaution, standard protocol. As we're clearing area, I notice camera guy lowered his rig, mouth open, having caught entire chaos on film. Riley stands there soaked from splash, hair messier than usual, expression somewhere between fury and something else. She marches over as I'm catching breath, still kneeling by bench where girl wrapped in towels. Instead of good job, she hisses, "Jake, you can't just dive through she space like that. We have protocols." I stare at her, hearing my heartbeat and kid sob say she was going under. Riley says Maria had it handled. You made it look like women's section is unsafe and chaotic. Maria, still breathing hard, shooting me look of gratitude, turns toward Riley, says quietly, "I didn't see her until he yelled. We were seconds from something bad." Riley waves hand like swatting fly, says, "This is exactly why we need calmer voices, not men charging in to be heroes." GM, who watched whole thing, says nothing right then, just looks very, very thoughtful. Rest of shift is blur of paperwork, incident reports, parents alternately thanking us and being mad we let it get that far. By evening, paramedic calls back to tell us girl is fine, lungs clear, no hospital stay, just scary moment. I go home exhausted, half expecting write-up, half not caring because kid's not a body bag. Monday morning, we get email, subject urgent, attendance required, safety review. All full-time guards, supervisors, deck managers told to come to conference room, no excuses. When we file in, it's not just Riley with slides this time. District GM is there, plus somebody from corporate safety with notebook, plus a woman from corporate HR that Riley definitely does not control. Projector shows still from camera footage of wave pool, blurred faces, but you can clearly see me mid-dive over rope, Maria on stand grabbed by Riley. Safety guy starts meeting, plays short clip without sound from wave starting to me pulling kid out. Even knowing an outcome, watching it again makes my stomach knot. He pauses on frame where girl barely above water, Maria pivoting, Riley's hand on her arm. He says, "We had a near miss this weekend, and we're going to talk about why it was near and not fatal." He asks me and Maria to describe what we saw, what we did, what we felt. We give straight answers, no drama, just, "This is how drownings happen quietly. This is why we move fast." Riley jumps in when it's her turn, tries to frame it as training moment about communication. Says, "I was reminding Maria that shouting directions can often be enough. We don't want to terrify guests with unnecessary dives." Safety guy asks, "And at that point, did you believe the guest was in no immediate danger?" Riley says, "It looked like just rough play. Lots of kids dip under and pop up all the time." GM quietly rewinds video to show how long girl's head is missing between waves. Rewinds again to audio clip this time. Room hears me yelling, water, faint cry, and then long blank before girl resurfaces half face down. Safety guy says, "That's about 8 seconds with impaired breathing. Another cycle or two and we'd be telling a different story." Corporate HR woman looks at another slide, this one listing recent policy changes, bullet points, no scanning bodies, she spaces, female only primary coverage, touch with consent. She asks Riley flatly, "Did you have these protocols reviewed and signed off by anyone in safety before implementing?" Riley admits she shared them in wellness newsletter and assumed alignment. Safety guy says, "We never saw them. They weren't on any official safety revision list. They weren't in your last audit packet." GM adds that he raised concerns privately about coverage, got told he was centering male comfort. Maria, voice shaking but clear, says, "I like having more women on deck, but I don't like being told guys can't help me when my head is turned." Couple other women nod. One says, "I felt guilty asking for backup in girls' area because of all the stuff about male gaze." Riley stares like they've stabbed her, sputters something about internalized misogyny. Corporate HR woman shuts that down gently, says, "Their testimonies are valid. We listen to everyone, remember." Safety guy flips to final slide, big letters, corrective actions. First bullet, all gendered coverage rules suspended immediately. Second, all staff to retrain on standard scanning, contact and rescue protocols, emphasis on speed over optics. Third, any new policy affecting emergency response must be reviewed and signed by safety and GM before implementation. Then, HR woman reads last bullet slowly. Riley's employment with the company is terminated effective today due to unapproved policy changes that increased risk to guests. Room is quiet except for faint hum of air conditioner and someone fidgeting with whistle. Riley looks stunned, then furious. She says, "So men get to keep staring and grabbing whoever they want, and I'm punished for trying to protect women." Safety guy replies, "No, predators still get fired and reported, but you don't protect women by tying the hands of the people who save them." GM adds, "You tried to turn lifeguards into statues with whistles. This weekend proved that almost cost a kid her life." Corporate HR offers Riley chance to meet privately after to discuss severance, but she just grabs bag, shoots me a look like I personally drowned her career, and storms out. Door swings shut behind her, softest sound in whole loud building. After meeting, safety guy comes find me near equipment closet. He says, "You broke rope rules, but you kept her breathing. That's exactly what you're supposed to do." Puts little note in my file that says, "Commendation for decisive action. First time HR paper ever feels good." Next shifts feel different with Riley gone. She space signs quietly disappear, replaced by generic stay in shallow if you can't swim boards. Coverage charts shift back to who can see what best, not whose chromosomes match guest vibes. We still talk about creepy behavior, we still watch each other, we still write people up if they obviously ogle. Big difference is if someone's head disappears underwater now, nobody stops to ask what committee wrote which rule. A couple weeks later, mom of little girl comes back with her. Kid runs up to stand shyly, hands me crayon drawing of guy with red cross on shirt pulling stick figure out of blue scribbles. At bottom she's written, "Thank you for not waiting." I pin it inside guard office next to faded resuscitation chart. End of long shift, I walk deck one more time before closing. Wave pool is empty, waves off, surface smooth like dark glass. She space rope is gone, just single clean line around deep section like always. I stand where I dove that day, can pretty much still feel rough rope on shins, water slap in ears, adrenaline burning lungs. Funny thing, place finally feels safer now that our job is back to something simple. See trouble, move fast, get hands on, keep people above water. Turns out you don't make women safer by banning male eyes and hands from doing their actual job. You make them safer by training everyone well, firing creeps, and never letting some wellness spreadsheet outrank the sound of someone quietly going under 5 feet from your stand.